Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more latest news. So just going to give you some big news in regards to Mason Greenwood and of course Chong, and that obviously two of our young upcoming players. So we will start with Mason Greenwood. So reportedly, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is considering, giving Mason Greenwood a prominent role at Manchester United. We do know that Mason Greenwood is obviously demanding more playing time at the club. Obviously, so far this season, Mason Greenwood has not yet started the game from the start. He has so far made 4 substitute appearances. So I do believe in the game against Leicester, Mason Greenwood, should get given the start. Well, I'm hopeful that I can get given the start anywhere, because I thought Mason Greenwood, was a fruition, throughout pre-season. Obviously, Mason Greenwood's performances, was very, very good last season. He scored 30 goals in 29 games for the under-18s, the under-19s, and of course the under-21s. And he's only 17 years of age, is Mason Greenwood, so he has still got a lot of development in him. And like I did say on previous videos, we have got a lot of young players that are developing, and of course trying to improve at Manchester United. But I did say the young players that played throughout pre-season, was very, very impressive. And I did say, the young players, will become a fruition this season. So, like I said, Mason Greenwood, should get given the start from the start against Leicester. But, in the 4 substitute appearances he's made so far this season, I think, Mason Greenwood has looked quite impressive. Some people believe now, we look a bit, we look light now up front, basically. Obviously, with us losing, obviously, Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez, we are a bit of short of options in that. But Solskjaer, anyway, explained the reason why we didn't get that replacement from the Lukaku, obviously, to prioritise the development of Mason Greenwood. So, yeah, Mason Greenwood, he's going to get more playing time, which is very, very good. And it's good that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, in the aspects, that he's got a lot of trustworthy in his young upcoming players. The news about Chong, want to give you an update on as well. Reportedly, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has told Chong, that he will get first team chances at Manchester United this season. Chong is yet to make an appearance for Man United so far this season. Chong, did play throughout pre-season, but he has not yet, played so far this season. Chong has actually, refused to go out on loan from Manchester United, because reportedly, I think he received loan offers from PSV and his former club Feyenoord. But he had turned down the opportunity, to join one of them clubs, because he has confirmed he wants to commit his long-term future with Manchester United. Now, Chong was very, very impressive, throughout pre-season. Chong is only 19 years of age. He's still got a lot of development in him. Don't forget, Chong made his competitive debut against Reading in the FA Cup last season. Obviously, won that game by 2-0, and I think he made his full Premier League debut in the win against Southampton back in March, which did end by 3-2. And I did initially say, Chong, should be a big part in the squad this season. So we know now he's staying at Manchester United. According to the Daily Mail, he's in discussions with the club over a new contract term, is Chong. So Man United, may consider, giving him a new contract. But we do know that he is a right winner. So Chong's staying at the football club, which is very, very good news. With Mason Greenwood, I think he actually, made his full debut against Cardiff on the last Premier League game of last season. And I think, he'd played really, really well on his full debut, did Mason Greenwood. So yeah, it's good that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got a lot of trustworthy in his young players, like I said earlier on in the video. With Angel Gomez as well, he's another player I think, who should get given the opportunity. I'm surprised, he didn't play against Southampton, Mason Greenwood. Angel Gomez. Sorry, I'm surprised he didn't play against Southampton, because it didn't actually say, he's going to be a big part of the squad this season. Is Angel Gomez. Obviously, he is one of our midfielders. With Jimmy Garner, maybe he could get given the opportunities this season. I think he played 1 or 2 games, throughout pre-season, did Jimmy Garner. Alex Tuanzebe, I think, he should be a big part of the squad this season. He's another young player. So we have got a lot of young players in the squad now, and I do believe, they'll all get given their opportunities. But like I did say on the video yesterday, we've enjoyed a very, very difficult start to the season. We've enjoyed a very, very difficult start to the season. We've only won 1 game out of 4, so we've only registered 5 points from possible possible 12 because we've won one, we've drawn two, and we've lost one. And like I did say, we need to see improvements at Manchester United, and I haven't really seen much improvements so far this season. And basically, so far this season is replicating, what I saw last season, because last season was a huge disappointment. We finished sixth. Obviously, we didn't win any silver, and of course, I failed to qualify for the Champions League. And I did say in that aspect, it went against us in the summer transfer window, recommending all the players that we did want in, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer didn't get all the players that he wanted to recommend in. He did recommend 3 good players into the squad. Obviously, he spent just over £140 million on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and on Harry Maguire, and we have seen glimpses of what good signs they've proven to be so far. So it's good that we did address some of the problematic areas. We've got that experienced centre half in. We've got that right back in, but obviously we didn't address that midfield, and I said that was one of the priority areas, of course, where Manchester United needed to strengthen up, throughout the course of the summer. But I did say anyway, certain players, would have had reservations about joining the football club, with our failure to qualify for the Champions League. We've actually failed to qualify for the Champions League 3 times out of the 6 seasons, since Alex Ferguson's retirement. But like I did say, maybe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer won't get sacked this season. Maybe Man United are willing to give him time. Maybe he does need more time, to make further investment in January, probably perhaps next summer, because you can still quite frankly say that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is in the process of rebuilding. Obviously, analysing it, the majority of this squad is not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Like I said, there's only 3 players there that are his, that he recommended in, throughout the course of the summer. But like I did say, I think at the start of the season, the board had come to terms that they didn't back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough, throughout the course of the summer. And I think the board have assured, that regardless of what happens this season, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job, should be safe for at least this season. So I think he's been assured that he will be back in the next couple of windows. Obviously, I did say at the start of the season, our expectations this season, won't be to win the league, obviously, because analysing our squad at the moment, it isn't good enough to win the league or even, mount any kind of title challenge up. And I did say, we won't win the league in the next 2 to 3 years at least. We won't, because obviously our squad is not good enough at the moment. But I think it's definitely, good enough for the top 4 finish. And I did say our expectations will be to finish in that top 4 this season. Maybe win some silver, because it's very imperative that we do get back into the Champions League. And I did say, with the dimension of this football club, with the history of this football club, we should be up there challenging, and of course, winning silverware and that. And we haven't been doing this in the last 6 or 7 years or so. So it has, been extremely disappointing. But our ambitions for the future is obviously to get back to winning silverware. This is something obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to bring back to the football club. He wants to bring that fear factor back to the football club. There's a lot of people that have got doubts that Solskjaer will bring that fear factor back to Manchester United. That fear factor, hasn't been there, since the Alex Ferguson era and that. But we've enjoyed a very, very difficult start to this season. But I still think there's some players that have, performed quite well, even though we've enjoyed a difficult start to the season. There's a lot of players that have obviously not underperformed. I think Martial's had a fantastic start to this season. Obviously, we do know that he's out with a thigh injury at the moment, but he's had a fantastic start to this season. Obviously, him and Rashford obviously have both played in the number 9 so far this term. But it did confirm at the start of the season anyway that Martial had been given that number 9 shirt. Obviously, it did confirm he's playing more central this season, because Martial, does seem to be, more effective in that central position. But I think he's been fantastic this season so far, Martial. And I've set him a target. I think he should score from at least between 15 to 20 goals. From at least 15 to 20 goals this season. Martial's only 23 years of age. Obviously, he has still got a lot of development in him. I still don't think he's quite emulated to that level as yet, but I think, he will get to that level, where he does want to be, Anthony Martial. Obviously, he's under contract with the football club till 2024. The club give him a 5-year deal back in January. But yeah, I think he's doing really, really well at Manchester United. I think he's scored 2 goals so far this season, provided 1 or 2 assists. But I think, he'll do really, really well. And he's a very, very imperative player, don't forget. Obviously, Martial, this is now his 5th season as a Manchester United player. He has been subjected to quite a bit of transfer speculation in the past. Obviously, early on in the summer, there was talks about him possibly leaving. Obviously, back under the Jose Mourinho era, obviously, Mourinho wanted to get rid of Anthony Martial. But I'm glad he remained loyal at the football club. And we paid quite a bit of money for him, We got him for £36 million from Monaco back in 2015. Obviously, it potentially potentially rise up to 57 or 58 million based on goals and achievements. So far this season, I think he's replicating, what he did in his first season with the club, Anthony Martial, because obviously we got him as a 19-year-old, and he did well in his debut season under Louis van Gaal. I think he scored 17 goals in his first season. Obviously, he scored 50 goals for the club. He scored his 50th goal against Wolves, but he has got a thigh injury. But I think, he should be fully fit for the game against Leicester after the international break. But I think he's had a fantastic start, this season. With Rashford now, a lot of people, criticised Marcus Rashford's performance against Southampton, because his performance, was quite poor against Southampton. Obviously, Rashford was playing centrally in the game against Southampton. Obviously, he was full in Anthony Martial's role. And I thought Rashford was quite disappointing. He didn't latch onto any of them crosses. He looked sort of isolated in that central position. But I still say, Marcus Rashford is the long-term solution for Manchester. I think he's had a pretty decent start to the season. Prior to his penalty miss against Crystal Palace and prior to his performance against Southampton, I think he did well in the first two games. Did Marcus Rashford, and I thought he did really well throughout pre-season. I thought he did really well, throughout pre-season, Marcus Rashford. But he's still a long-term solution for Manchester United, in my opinion. He has been at the squad. He has been, at the club, since the age of 7. Obviously, he's been in the senior squad with us, since 2016. And he's a very imperative player, he's Rashford. He's only 21 years of age. He has still got a lot of development in him. Can play centrally. Rashford can also play out wide. But I think he'll mainly play on that flank this season, because obviously, Martial's playing more centrally. But, Rashford, I think, will do well throughout the course of the season. Well, I'm hopeful, that he can anywhere. But was a very disappointing against Southampton. Was very disappointing against Southampton. So far, I've been impressed there with Scott McTominay. I think he's done quite well so far this season. I still don't know if he's the long-term solution for Man United. I don't know if he's got all the attributes to succeed as a Manchester United player. So I have got an element of concerns about that. But I think he's had a fantastic start this season. So far as McTominay did well throughout pre-season. So far, mainly this season in the Premier League, he has been playing alongside Paul Pogba. And to be fair, they've looked very good together in that midfield. But McTominay, he's still very young. I thought he did well towards the back end of last season, to be quite honest, and he's replicating that so far, what he did at the end of last season so far this season. But I still don't know if he's the long-term solution for Manchester United. But like I did say, the 3 signings Ole Gunnar Solskjaer recommended in, I said earlier on in the video, we have seen glimpses of what good signings they've proven to be so far. Daniel James, he's had an absolutely fantastic start to his Manchester United career. He's already scored 3 goals so far this season as Daniel James. He is only 21 years of age, and he's still a prospect and needs time to develop, in my opinion. And he's still improvements needed in his game, don't get me wrong. But yeah, he's had a fantastic start to his Man United career. With Wan-Bissaka, again, he's had a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. Obviously, he's our first choice right back, is Wan-Bissaka. Obviously, we've got quite a few other fullbacks as a backup. Ashley Young's one of the backups. Diego Dalot, and that's one of the backups. But obviously, Wan-Bissaka is our first choice right back. But Wan-Bissaka, his distribution's good. He shows that ability to play out from the back. He's good at making them runs and that. And he's, we've seen this so far with him at Man United, and he's replicating, at Man United, what he did with Crystal Palace last season. Because don't forget, Wan-Bissaka only made his senior debut back in February 2018. And I think, Harry Maguire's had a pretty decent start to his Manchester United career, and I think he will definitely succeed at Man United. Obviously, Harry Maguire's more experienced, obviously, he's more of an experienced player that we brought in because he's 26 years of age, and Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka are both only 21. But I'm glad that we did get that experience centre-half in. Anyway, I think Harry Maguire, has addressed our defensive deficiencies. I think him and Lindelof, complement each other fantastically well in our back line, and Harry Maguire, is obviously the best option than what we've got in our backline at the present time and that. But it was good that we did address our defensive deficiencies. But like I said, I haven't really seen much improvements this season in Manchester United. For me, it's not like we're playing bad in the games. We're just not basically, scoring enough goals. We're not being clinical enough in front of goal. We seem to be creating chances, but we're just not being clinical enough in front of goal. And obviously, this was a problem last season. Last season we only managed 53 goals in the Premier League last season, and we conceded 54 goals in the Premier League last season for the first time in 4 years. But yeah, I haven't really seen much improvements, to be quite honest with you. But we definitely need to recommend a midfielder in, throughout the course of the January transfer window. Don't forget, throughout the course of summer as well, was in search for a right winner. But yeah, so like I did say to you on my video yesterday, I said to you on my video, didn't I, yesterday, what will Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's next signings be? What will Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's next signings be in that? And will he still continue wanting to sign, young homegrown players? Because obviously he worked out his transfer strategy early on in the summer, did Solskjaer, and he did basically say, he wanted to recommend a number of young upcoming British players to the squad, that can emulate into superstars and that. This is what he basically said. But I do believe, the players, we was in for, throughout the course of the summer. I probably presume, that we will reignite our interest in them in the January transfer window. With Bruno Fernandes, I don't think we'll go back in for him, because the last time I read about Bruno Fernandes, it did say he was on the verge of joining Real Madrid, Bruno Fernandes, for around £64 million. But we had our opportunity for Bruno Fernandes. He was one of our main prize targets, throughout the course of the summer. And I would have been excited about the prospect of Bruno Fernandes, playing alongside Paul Pogba in our midfield. I would have been really, really excited about that. But obviously, we missed out on Bruno Fernandes. Don't forget, throughout the course of the summer, the club went in for Dybala in the last couple of weeks of the window. Obviously, we didn't get Dybala in. Went in for Mandzukic. Obviously, we were seeing them as replacements for Romelu Lukaku. I think the board anyway had reservations about bringing Mandzukic and, reflecting on his age, because, he is 33 years of age. I think we'll probably go in for Jadon Sancho next summer. I'd love Jadon Sancho, to come to the football club, even though he will cost us a substantial amount. Will Jadon Sancho probably cost us in the excess of around £100 million. Don't forget, we was chasing Jadon Sancho earlier on in the summer. Reflecting back in January, we identified him as our number one target. But I think, our move got screw-ups for Jadon Sancho. Obviously, with our failure to qualify for the Champions League. But reports came out about 3 or 4 weeks ago saying that Jadon Sancho is set to leave Borussia Dortmund next summer. And yeah, I'd love, Man United to get Jadon Sancho in. Obviously, he's predominantly a right winger. And, I'd be excited about the prospect of Jadon Sancho, playing alongside the likes of Rashford, Martial and Daniel James in our attacking line. I would be really excited about that indeed. Jadon Sancho's been at Borussia Dortmund 2 years. This is now his 3rd season as a Borussia Dortmund player. He's still under contract with them until 2022. But we do know next summer we will have to pay around £100 million for his services to get him. But we've got the financial power, to meet that valuation. And I think the beneficial thing is as well of us going in for Jadon Sancho next summer is obviously that he's already had experience of playing in the Premier League. Don't forget he served a couple of years with Manchester City. Never really got the opportunity at Manchester City. Never got a shot to get into the first team, and that this is the main factor reason why he left Manchester City to join Borussia Dortmund. And Borussia Dortmund only paid around £7 or £8 million to him. So Borussia Dortmund, selling for £100 million next summer, they will make a huge profit on the player. They'll make around a 92 or £93 million profit because they basically got him for next to naught. But if Jadon Sancho comes back to the Premier League, I think it will help. It will create a better platform for him. I think it'll help him with his it'll help him with his development more. But I think he'll succeed in the Premier League anyway. So I think it did say we are set to go in for Jadon Sancho next summer. I think it did say Manchester City, could also go in for him. I think they've got some kind of clause in a deal. But yeah, I don't think we'll go in for him in January. I think we'll wait until next summer, to go in for Jadon Sancho. But Jadon Sancho confirmed early on in the summer he's remained at Borussia Dortmund at least for this season. But he is only 19 years of age. Don't forget, throughout the course of the summer, we went in for James Maddison. Now, James Maddison, he wasn't one of our main priority targets. I think we was tentatively linked with him. We inquired about getting James Maddison in. Obviously, James Maddison is predominantly an attacking midfielder. Don't forget last season, he created the most chances in the Premier League. I think he created around 100 chances, did James Maddison. And James Maddison is a pretty decent player. Obviously, he's only 22 years of age. I think this is now his 2nd season as a Leicester player. Obviously, last season was his debut season with Leicester and did quite well. Leicester did get him last summer from Norwich for just, was it around £20 million. He's Premier League proven now as well. And obviously, James Maddison did serve a good couple of years in the Championship with Norwich. I think he began his career at Coventry when he was younger. Quite a lot of teams were tracking him then. I think he also had a loan spell in Scotland there with Aberdeen. So yeah, Manchester United, went in for him. Obviously, earlier on in the summer, I think it was back in June, or it might have even been at the end of May, we inquired about Declan Rice, from West Ham. He was one of our targets, but wasn't one of our main priority targets. Again, tentatively linked with Declan Rice. Declan Rice is very, very good. He's breaks up the play very, very well. I think he's primarily a defensive midfielder, but can also play him as a centre-back, can Declan Rice, only 20 years of age, well Premier League proven, and this shall learn his trade in the Premier League. He has got a long-term contract with West Ham, don't forget he's under contract with them until 2024. Until 2024, and he has been at West Ham now a number of years. He's been their senior squad now a number of years. Obviously, before he was at West Ham, he actually began his career with Chelsea. He actually spent a number of years in their youth academy. I think got axed off back in 2014. But yeah, so these are players we could go back in for in January, or perhaps next summer and that. But definitely no further more investment is needed in the squad. Like I did say, I think throughout the course of the summer, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was talking about our recruitment policy, and prior to the summer transfer window, we haven't been competitive enough in the last 2 to 3 windows. So reflecting back in January, we didn't get anyone. Reflecting back last summer, we didn't get our number one targets in that. We didn't get our number one targets in that, so that's very, very disappointing. That's very, very disappointing. But like I did say, I know quite a lot of players now have left, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. Obviously, we saw Antonio Valencia leave at the end of last season after he served 10 years at Manchester United. He was a long-serving player for the football club. Obviously, Chris Smalling left the football club. It got confirmed the other week, he's gone out on loan to Roma. We have loaned quite a few players out. He's gone out on loan to Roma. Roma paid just under £3 million to get him on loan. There is no obligation to buy for Roma to pay the deal permanent next summer, so possibly after the loan, Smalling will return to Manchester United. And he was a long-serving player for the football club, Smalling. He served 9 years at Manchester United. But, despite us, loaning Chris Smalling out, we have still we've still got 6 centre-backs in the team, even with Chris Smalling loaned out. We've got obviously Lindelof and Harry Maguire that are our first-choice centre-backs. Like I did say, with Harry Maguire, is the best option than what we've got in our backline at the moment. With Victor Lindelof, these question marks around him, can he keep the consistency up? And I think he has been a bit below par in the last couple of games, so, he needs to improve him a little bit. Does Lindelof. Lindelof now is into his 3rd season as a Manchester United player. Don't forget, we did get him a couple of years ago from Benfica. We paid just under £31 million, was it, for him? And we got him for a reasonable figure. Didn't really settle in his 1st season. Lindelof, struggled for that consistency, but then there was vast improvements in his 2nd season. And I think mainly so far this season, he has replicated what he did in his 2nd season. So for me, still a long-term solution for Manchester United. But maybe in the cup games, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer may rotate that backline a little bit. I think he'll rotate the squad in each game anyway. But yeah, and we've got other central defenders. Don't forget, as I said, we've got Alex Tuanzebe. He's going to be a big part of the squad this season. I think Alex Tuanzebe, can replicate what he did last season with Aston Villa with Manchester United, because he was on loan with Aston Villa last season. He did really, really well. So in that aspect, he's also gained more experience. With Marcus Rojo, I think he needs to be sold either in January or next summer. I'm surprised he wasn't sold throughout the course of this summer transfer window, but Solskjaer confirmed prior to the Southampton game that Rojo is going to be definitely staying at the football club. Obviously, Rojo has just got under 2 years left on his contract with Manchester United. I think he's played about 70-odd games in the Premier League for the club. Rojo did play throughout pre-season, but obviously hasn't played in the Premier League yet this season. I did say he's in first choice. Rojo, I think it's good in the aspects that he's versatile, he's Rojo, because he's primarily a centre-back, but he can also play on the left-hand side. He can also play him as a wing-back. So his versatility is actually very, very good. His Marcus Rojo's, and he's now 29 years of age, I think. So he's aging up. Quite a few teams inquired about getting him, throughout the course of the summer. Don't forget, Everton inquired about getting him on deadline day. Monaco, Marcelo and AC Milan also inquired about getting Rojo, but obviously they didn't land him. So he served his 2 requirements at Manchester United, and I think Rojo's Manchester United career has been mainly affected, with the amount of injuries he has sustained. So it's really taken its toll on Marcus Rojo. So he's one player that needs to leave the football club, I think, in January or next summer. Or next summer. Obviously, we've still got Phil Jones here at the football club. He's been a long-serving player at Manchester United. He's been here now 8 years. As Phil Jones, obviously now he's into his 9th season as a Manchester United player. Obviously, Phil Jones is going to find game time very, very difficult this season. With Phil Jones, I think we have seen glimpses of how good he can be. Over the years, he has been at Manchester United, but again, he's no longer good enough to represent the football club. Plus, he's aging up. He's Phil Jones. I think he's a player we need to get rid of in January or perhaps next summer. Obviously, we've got Eric Bay in our backline as well. He's another central defender we've got, and I think the club may consider offloading Eric Bay, to be quite honest with you, maybe in January or next summer. Even though Eric Bay is a very imperative player and he has got great potential, when he's fully fit and he does hold his line well, but Eric Bay is injury prone, and I think his Manchester United career has been mainly affected, the amount of injuries he has sustained. Obviously now I think Eric Bay is now into his into his 3rd season. Is he now as a Manchester United player? Because he obviously arrived in 2016 from Villarreal. We paid around £30 million. I think the club would be open to selling him in January or next summer, but we would look to at least recoup the initial £30 million that we did pay for him from Villarreal back in 2016. Don't forget, Eric Bay, is out until I think the new year with a knee injury, so that's very, very disappointing. So yeah, we have got a lot of central defence in our team, but maybe another one, does need to get offloaded. But we are still conceding goals, and that seems to be an issue. Even though with the arrival of Harry Maguire, we do seem to be still conceding goals. But I still believe we won't concede as many goals as we did last season. As we all know, Darmian left the football club. That got confirmed. Was it earlier on this week? Darmian left Manchester United. We let him go for just over £3 million. Obviously, he went and he's joined Parma in Italy for just over £3 million, and he confirmed that he did sign a 4-year deal. And I think it's beneficial for Darmian's career, going back to Italy, because obviously he spent the majority of his career in Italy anyway when he was younger. Darmian enjoyed a difficult 4 years with Manchester United. Never really got the opportunity. But I wasn't surprised anyway that Darmian left the football club. I was just surprised, of how much we let him go for, basically, because obviously we paid just over £12 million for him from Torino back in 2015, back under the Louis van Gaal Moreira. And now basically, just let Darmian go for next to nothing. We've got, we're well known for doing that. We're well known for spending big on players. We've got a history of overpaying for players, and then we let them go for next to nothing. And that in that aspect, that's a bad business from the football club. If we'd sold Darmian maybe a year or two ago, maybe we could have at least recouped the money that we did pay for him from Torino. Back in 2015. But Darmian was surplus to requirements of the club anyway. Obviously, I think he sustained quite a few injuries during his Manchester United tenure. Obviously, Darmian only played initially like 13 times, since December 2017. He only played 7 times for the club last season, and Darmian made 92 appearances in all competitions for Manchester United, and he only managed 1 goal for the club, and I think that goal came against Crystal Palace back in 2016. But I think Darmian is now 29 years of age, but he enjoyed a very, very difficult time with the football club. I think initially he was supposed to be going for just over £1 million, but it turns out we let him go for £3.6 million. So he left the football club the other week. Obviously, we know that Ander Herrera left the football club. That could have been a mistake as well by Manchester United, letting Ander Herrera go, because you could quite arguably say that Ander Herrera was one of our best players, since the Alex Ferguson Herrera, and he made a huge difference in that midfield. I thought he played very, very well last season, did Ander Herrera, to be quite honest with you. He's a good player. He's Ander Herrera. He's served 5 good years at Manchester United, so he was quite a long-serving player in that. It was a shame that we didn't recruit a replacement for Ander Herrera, which we should have done, really. Obviously, with Marion Fellaini, he was a long-serving player. He served 6 years at Manchester United. Obviously, we got him for just over £27 million back under the David Moyes era, but he was mainly inconsistent. Was Marion Fellaini. I think he went to China in January. Lukaku, of course, left the football club. It was actually a shame that we didn't get a replacement for Romelu Lukaku, because some people say, like I said at the beginning of the video, we are a bit short of options now in that attacking line. we are a bit short of options now in that attacking line. But yeah, it was good. It was good business for Man United, getting rid of Romelu Lukaku, because obviously, like I said, he was one of the problematic players. He was surface to requirements at the football club anywhere, and obviously, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got recommended in, obviously Rashford's been first choice anywhere. Well, he was first choice ahead of Romelu Lukaku, but it was good that we did generate a substantial amount for the flop, and it was good to see us recoup the money that we did pay for him from Everton a couple of years ago. So that was good business from the football club. Sanchez, of course, gone out on loan, to Inter Milan. That got confirmed the other week. Don't forget, we're still paying the majority of his wages, so we're still giving him around 300 grand a week. So despite him being on loan with Inter Milan, he's still the second highest paid player at Manchester United. But I am glad, we got rid of Alexis Sanchez. Inter Milan, I think, are paying around 4.5 million of his 21 million annual salary. But obviously, like you all know, there's no option to buy. There's no obligation to buy, so Inter Milan, can't make the deal permanent next summer. I think it's actually, we've actually, paid to loan him out. I think we've paid them around £6 million and that. So yeah, so they're the players that have left Man United so far since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. Don't forget, Dean Ensign's been loaned back out to Sheffield United. I think that's good in that aspect, because he'll gain more experience, Dean Ensign. Joe Pereira, of course, a couple of weeks ago joined Hearts on loan. So quite a few now have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival, but I still think there's players here now that are no longer, good enough to represent Manchester United. But, I'm just hopeful, that it can work out under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I'm very, very hopeful about that, because I love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a lot. He was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years. He flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance. And he did confirm early on in the summer that he's following Alex Ferguson's philosophy. But I'm hopeful that it can work out under him. But, I've just got doubts now about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I don't know if he's got all the attributes, if he's got that stature, to get us in that commanding position, where we do want to be. So I have got a lot of concerns about that. But, I love him a lot. And I did say, we're not really known for the sacking club. We're not really known for a sacking club. And I did say anyway, we haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers. Because obviously, we've already sacked 3 managers, since Alex Ferguson's, the Alex Ferguson era. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's our fourth permanent manager since Alex Ferguson's retirement. So I'm hopeful, that it can work out under Solskjaer. And that I think there's a lot of people, that have criticised Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tactics in that, because I thought it tactically, to be fair, got it right against Southampton. But I'm hopeful, that it can work out under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and maybe the club, will give him at least this season, to try and invest more into the squad and that, because he's still in the process of rebuilding. Don't forget, Solskjaer's still inheriting 10 of Jose Mourinho's players. Well, Jose Mourinho bought 11 in, but there's still 10 here. He's still inheriting players here from Louis van Gaal. He's still inheriting, you're still inheriting Juan Mata from the David Moyes era and that, and there's still players here from the Alex Ferguson era. So for me, probably does need more time to rebuild. But I did say on one of my videos quite recently, if we're not competing for the top 4 by the new year, I think the pressure will mount up more on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Could possibly not get sacked. Could possibly get sacked, but like I said, the results have got to improve. The performances have got to improve a bit more, and we've just got to start scoring more goals. I think we're also lacking in the team leadership. That's also something else that Manchester United are lacking. But yeah, I would give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a bit more time at the moment. There's another element of concerns about him, that he hasn't really got the experience of a manager. Not really to the highest level. So that's an element of concern. Solskjaer did well when he was the interim manager of the club in his first 3 months last season. He did really, really well, because the results were good, the performances were good, he exceeded expectations. But since he got the job in March earlier on this year, it's just seemed to have all gone wrong. And don't forget, Solskjaer did win a couple of Norwegian titles and that with Mould. He also managed Cardiff, but he only enjoyed a short tenure with Cardiff and that. But I think he got Cardiff relegated, so didn't really work out for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Cardiff. And but like I said, regardless of who our manager is, no one's going to ever follow Alex Ferguson's legacy. We're never ever going to replicate, what we did under Alex Ferguson. That's something we've got to accept. But we just want to be back, to being a competitive elite level football club. And managers do need time, to be quite honest. I know now the boards and that are more ruthless. If you go like 5 or 6 games, if you go on a 5 or 6 game, winless run, then the pressure starts to mount up on your current manager. But don't forget, back under the Alex Ferguson era, we had 26, 27 successful years under him. But don't forget when we appointed him in 1986, was it, from Aberdeen? He didn't win out in his first 4 years, and at that point, Ferguson was on the verge of getting the sack and that. And then look what he went and achieved, Sir Alex Ferguson. That obviously, I know we've been inconsistent in the last 6 or 7 years, but we are still the most successful team in England. Historically, we've won 13 Premier League, 20 all in all. Don't forget, we haven't won the Premier League, since 2013. That was in Alex Ferguson's last season. That's over 6 years ago now. And you can quite arguably say, Robin Van Persie won us the league that season, reflecting on the amount of goals that he scored. And we won the league comfortably that season. We won it by 11 points. But we just haven't been the same team, since the Alex Ferguson era. And like I said, a hell of a lot of money has been invested into the football club in the last 6 or 7 years or so. It actually estimated out, what we've roughly spent, since, the Alex Ferguson era. And I think it did say, we spent around £968 million. That's just under £1 billion then we've spent in the last 6 years. So I said we spent over £140 million this summer under Solskjaer. We spent just under £400 million under Jose Mourinho. Over £200 million was spent under Louis van Gaal era, and just under £67 million was spent under David Moyes. So it worked out to just under £1 billion. Like I did say, it didn't really work out under the Jose Mourinho era. Even though Mourinho's got that proven pedigree, he was regarded as one of the best managers in the world. At one point was Jose Mourinho. Reflecting on the the amount of silverware he has won as a manager in that, Jose Mourinho. But it didn't work out for him at Manchester United. I think he had like 2.5 years at the club, but it didn't work out under him because obviously Mourinho had bad disputes with the board. He also had bad disputes with the players, with the top players, should I say. Did Jose Mourinho, there was no sort of winning philosophy under Mourinho, there was no sort of transfer strategy under Jose Mourinho, and obviously the board weren't backing his signings that I wanted to recommend to the football club last summer. So these are the couple of reasons why it didn't work out. These are the couple of main factor reasons why it didn't work out under the Jose Mourinho era. But a lot of money was spent under the Mourinho era. I think he did okay in his first season, winning the Europa League and the League Cup with Manchester United and that Jose Mourinho. But after that, it just all went wrong basically. I think in his first season as well, Jose Mourinho with Man United, we did finish second, but we actually finished around 19 points behind Manchester City. Or was that in the second season, if I can remember rightly? But Mourinho did win the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season with Manchester United, but it wasn't good enough. He didn't exceed expectation levels at Manchester United as we all thought he would have done. Reflecting on his pedigree as well, he just wasn't good enough. Maybe that was a mistake by Man United. We did appoint Jose Mourinho in too late. Under Louis van Gaal era, he never had the right sort of philosophy, and that did Louis van Gaal. Like I said, the vast majority of players he recommended into Manchester United have now left the club. Still some of them are here, right now. But, there was some good times under Louis van Gaal and that, won the FA Cup under Van Gaal back in 2016, but it didn't work out under Louis van Gaal era. And like I said, under David Moyes, didn't work out under him. He only had a short tenure at the football club. He only lasted around 8 or 9 months, did David Moyes. Like I said, he brought 2 players in, but David Moyes never had that proven pedigree anyway. He never, he never dealt with top players. Obviously before he came to Man United at that time, back in 2013, was it? He obviously, he'd had a long tenure with Everton. I think he had around 9 or 10 years with Everton. I think before he was at Everton, he was at Preston as well. But at the time, it was Ferguson that recommended, David Moyes in, obviously because they're both Scottish. They were both good mates and that then. But yeah. And if you want to take into account what was spent under Alex Ferguson, obviously, we spent way over £1 billion and that. But it just proves always spending big on players and getting them Glasgow players, doesn't always guarantee you success. And that's been proven with Manchester United in the last 6 or 7 years or so. But I think the vast majority of Manchester United fans, including me, have been, criticising the board. Have also been criticising Ed Woodward. Actually, a lot of United fans have been demanding Ed Woodward and, the Glazers out of the football club and that. Because I don't like the way the football club, to be quite honest, I don't like the way the football club has been run in the last 6 or 7 years or so. I don't like it, to be quite honest with you. I don't like it, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Like I did update you, I've been updating you quite recently. Well, I updated you yesterday, should I say, the news in regards to Paul Pogba. Obviously, it confirmed yesterday, I think it was the day before yesterday, Manchester United, Ed Woodward and Manchester United have made contact with, Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, over the possibility of extending his contract at Manchester United, because Paul Pogba's got 2 years left on his current deal with an option to extend it by a further year. So reportedly now Manchester United are hopeful, we can get him to a new long-term contract. Obviously, we do know throughout the course of the summer, Paul Pogba had a long-running transfer saga, and he was relentlessly, linked to move to Real Madrid. But obviously, Paul Pogba's move to Real Madrid never materialised, and I think, he'll be infuriated about that. I think also Zinedine Zidane, will be infuriated, that he didn't land his priority target, because Zinedine Zidane, did identify Paul Pogba as his number 1 priority target, throughout the course of the summer transfer window. Now, I did say, the huge stumbling block of Paul Pogba's move to Real Madrid, obviously, was reflecting on the substantial amount, we put on Paul Pogba throughout the course of the summer, because we quoted out that we wanted around £180 million for him. Obviously, that we're basically in that aspect, we're basically demanding just over double than what we initially, paid for him from Juventus back in 2016, because we did pay around £89 million for Paul Pogba. Obviously, Paul Pogba is our most expensive signing. He's also, one of the highest paid players at the football club, and he's also, World Cup winner, is Paul Pogba. But I did say, he's a very, very imperative player, and I did say it was very imperative that we did, convince him to remain at the football club. I still think Paul Pogba's plans for the future is to make a move to Real Madrid. So we do know Paul Pogba is staying at Manchester United at least until January, or perhaps next summer. But Real Madrid, they spent a substantial amount, throughout the course of the summer. They spent around, £300 million on players. So they recommended about 5 players in. They did sell some players, Real Madrid, so they did generate some of the money back, did Real Madrid. I think they generated around £100 million of it back. But Paul Pogba, confirmed, reflecting back in June, early on in the summer, he said he wanted to leave Manchester United. He publicly admitted this, and he did say, Paul Pogba, he was seeking for a new challenge. This is what he basically said. And obviously, throughout pre-season, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was talking a lot about Paul Pogba. He also spoken to Paul Pogba, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how much of an imperative player that Paul Pogba is. And I did say the couple of main factor reasons why Paul Pogba wants to leave the football club, because obviously he's frustrated with lack of competitiveness. We're not in Champions League football. Maybe he wants to be playing amongst better players, and he feels as though he isn't playing amongst good enough players at Manchester United and that. But he is still 26 years of age, is Paul Pogba. He has still got a lot of development minimum and that. And we have seen Paul Pogba at his best as a Manchester United player. When he's at his best, he's like 2 plays in 1. He's good at feeding the attackers. He can score goals. He can provide assists. I think he's done okay so far this season. I thought his performance was below par against Southampton. Played quite a lot of sloppy passes, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was saying. I think Paul Pogba's performance against Wolves wasn't that good. Obviously, he missed a penalty against Wolves. Obviously, Paul Pogba was subjected to online racial abuse earlier on in the season following his penalty miss against Wolves. But in that aspect, I'll credit Paul Pogba, because I thought, he handled the situation, quite well. But yeah, we do know Paul Pogba's remained in the football club now, at least until January. But like I said, Real Madrid will be infuriated, that they didn't get Paul Pogba. Obviously, there was talks about early on in the summer of Paul Pogba possibly, making a return back to Turin, because Paul Pogba did have 4 good years in Turin. Hasn't mainly replicated this at Manchester United. So Juventus have been in for him throughout the course of the summer. Don't forget, Juventus did good business, throughout the course of the summer. They got the likes of De Ligt. They spent a substantial amount on Ronaldo last summer. I think they paid over £100 million for Ronaldo. They got Adrian Rabiot in. They also got Aaron Ramsey in. So I did say at the time when the European transfer window was open, Juventus would have to have offloaded 1 or 2 of their essential players anywhere to fund the move for Paul Pogba, because I just don't think they'd have been able to afford Paul Pogba outright. But like I said, Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, he was in the process of finding Paul Pogba a new club, for the entirety of the summer. He was working very, very hard on getting Paul Pogba's transfer to Real Madrid completed. And his agent actually said at the start of pre-season that, his client, was in the process of leaving the football club. This is what he said at the start of pre-season, Paul Pogba. But yeah, we may consider, now giving Paul Pogba a new long-term contract to the club. Probably more than likely, Paul Pogba will demand a massive increase on his wages. He'll probably demand to be the highest paid player at the football club, if he is going to sign a new contract to Manchester United. So an estimated guess, I think he'll probably demand around somewhere in the region of at least £400,000 a week, maybe more, to sign a new long-term contract with Manchester United. But it hasn't only been this summer, Paul Pogba's been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. Reflecting back last summer, he was subjected to a lot of transfer speculation, based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho and that. Paul Pogba never really got the chance under Mourinho, and Paul Pogba got one of his best wishes when Jose Mourinho left the football club. But Paul Pogba with the club, he's won the Europa League and the League Cup with us. Obviously, that came in his second season with Manchester United. But Solskjaer knows how much of an imperative player that Paul Pogba is. And don't forget, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was younger, he managed the Manchester United reserve team, for a couple of years. And he watched some of this team now at this day and age, grow and develop. And of course, one of them players he watched grow and develop, of course, was Paul Pogba. So initially, they built a great relationship up and that. But, don't forget, we had Paul Pogba, when he was younger, back under the Alex Ferguson era. I think we got him back in 2009. Obviously, we got him from Lee Harvey. I think he served a couple of years in the youth setup, did Paul Pogba. Then went on, to make a couple of first-team appearances, obviously under the Alex Ferguson era. But due to limited appearances, obviously, we allowed Paul Pogba, to leave on a free transfer. Then he went and had 4 good years in Turin. But yeah, so obviously Paul Pogba didn't get his move to Real Madrid, this summer. So it's good that he's staying at the football club anyway, because, we haven't really got a backup option to him. I think, anyway, Paul Pogba, should be fully fit Paul Pogba should be fully fit for the game against Leicester, well, according to TalkSport. Obviously, it confirmed early on this week that Paul Pogba had to withdraw from the France squad, because we do know he likes to represent France and that, he's really, really good. I think he's, he likes to play more for his country than his actual club, does Paul Pogba believe it or not, but he is very, very good for France. But he withdrew from the France squad after sustaining an ankle injury in the 1-1 draw with Southampton last week, and I did say at that time, I hope the injury is not too severe. It did initially say Paul Pogba was set to undergo a scan, to obviously, investigate the extent of the damage. So it is an ankle injury he has sustained, because he was limping, in the game against Southampton last week. But, hopefully he can regain full fitness for the game against Leicester. I think he can anywhere. But yeah, the good news is Paul Pogba staying at the football club. But like I said, we have got quite a few injuries at the moment. Like I said, Wan-Bissaka, he had to withdraw from the England squad, earlier on this week. Obviously, he's sustained a back injury. I'm not too sure yet if he's going to, he should actually, play in the game against Leicester after the international break. Like I said, I think he's had a fantastic start to his Manchester United career so far. Eric Bailly, of course, is out until the new year. Like I said, Luke Shaw is out with a hamstring injury. I don't think he will be playing against Leicester. I don't think he will be. Initially said Luke Shaw is out until early October with a hamstring injury, but now it turns out he's out until mid-September. So could possibly participate in the game against Leicester, could Luke Shaw, because Luke Shaw's a very, very reliable player. Obviously he's our first choice left back. I think before he sustained this injury, I think he's had a pretty average start to this season, Luke Shaw, but I think for the majority of his Manchester United career so far, I think he's mainly done really, really well as Luke Shaw. He did well last season, won a double player of the season last season, reflecting on his impressive performances. But I think he stands out very, very well on that left-hand side, very reliable, good at, making them overlapping runs. So a very, very imperative player. Like I said, Fosu Mensah is a long-term absence. He's out with injury. Obviously, he returned to Manchester United early on in the summer, because last season, he was on loan with Fulham. I think before that he had a loan spell with Crystal Palace, but he's a long-term absence. Obviously, Lee Grant is out with injury. Like I said, Martial's got a thigh injury. So we have got quite a few injuries, to be quite honest here. But I do believe Wan-Bissaka and Paul Pogba, should both be fully fit, for the game against Leicester. Martial should be as well. So they're obviously, we've got about 4 imperative players out with injury, so far. Yeah. But like I did say, with that midfield, I have got a lot of concerns about. I think also Matic is a player that also needs to be moved on in January or next summer. Because I think, we have seen glimpses, of how good Matic can be. He can pass the ball and that. When we first signed Matic, I compared him, to Fellaini. And I think Matic is better than Marian Fellaini, to be quite honest with you, because I think he's better on the ball and he can pass the ball better. But Matic is just a slower player like Fellaini. He's too slow. He makes that midfielder look totally imbalanced. We paid £40 million million for him, Man United. I do believe now he's in his third season as a Manchester United player. But again, I think he's no longer first choice. He was first choice last season, was Matic. Actually, our first choice midfield trio last season was Matic, Pogba, and Herrera as well. But I think Matic now is too inconsistent, so I think we need to consider, getting rid of him. But, we have got likes of Fred, Pereira and that, we have seen glimpses of how good, there can be. Solskjaer said, he expects better things from Fred this season. I don't think Fred's yet played so far this season, if I'm right. I think, he did participate in some games, throughout pre-season. Fred hasn't performed to the same sort of level, as he did do at Shakhtar Donetsk, because Fred was an exceptional player at Shakhtar Donetsk, but hasn't really replicated this at Manchester United. Don't forget, Fred is on that list of one of our most expensive signings. We paid just under £50 million for him last summer from Shakhtar Donetsk. But anyway, we've got a history of spending a big on players. And with Pereira, I've got the same thoughts about Pereira, what I've got, with Fred. I've also got the same thoughts about McTominay. I still don't know if that trio has a long-term solution for Man United. I haven't been impressed with Jesse Lingard so far this season. I think he's been actually poor so far this season. This is why he didn't obviously start against Southampton. He came on as a substitute, but even though Jesse Lingard, due to his inconsistency, I still believe, he is the long-term solution for Manchester United. He's Jesse Lingard. Don't forget he can play as a number 10 or play on the right-hand side. So definitely, we need to see more improvements in the squad in the January transfer window. And so this was a long video. So the main part of this video, was to give you the latest news about Mason Greenwood and Chong. Mason Greenwood, I think, is going to get a prominent role at Manchester United. So he's demanding more playing time. I think he's now going to get more playing time as Greenwood. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got a lot of trust with his young players. And with Chong, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's told him he will get his first team chances. Obviously, played throughout pre-season, has yet to make appearance in the Premier League, this season for Manchester United. Don't forget, Chong has been at the football club since 2016. Obviously, we did get from Fernand. Obviously, he's rejected loan offers as Chong, to go to PSV or return to his former club Fernand. And so he wants to commit his long-term future with Manchester United, this Chong. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribe, as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.